Hello everyone, welcome to our today's session, and today I have a topper student here, Dr. Nehar Rajaporkar, and who has got some amazing results not only in NEET PG but also in INICT. So, and in his first ever attempt, he's got a rank 5 in NEET PG 22 and a rank 4 in INICT May 2022. So, heartiest congratulations first of all, Dr. Nehar, for your awesome results.
Yes, thank you so much, ma'am.
And at the outset, I would like to ask, like, whom would you like to dedicate your success to?
Of course, my parents and all the teachers at Unacademy who have watched my videos, and all my teachers at college who have helped me to develop my concepts on my subject, but mainly my parents who have supported me throughout this journey.
Amazing. And I'm pretty sure that each one of us vouches that it's all because of our parents wherever we are today. And let me also tell the viewers here that Dr. Nehar has done his MBBS from St. GSMC and KM Hospital, Mumbai. And this was his first attempt. That is, along with his internship, he has got some great results. So I'm sure he has some very, very good tips to share with each one of us, that how we can, manage our studies with internship. So, Dr. Nehar, if you could let us know that how did you manage your time with internship for studies?
Okay, so if so, the thing is in Maharashtra, like especially in Mumbai, the internship is very heavy. So you are made to do a lot of work. So it becomes a bit difficult to manage internship and study. But then, how I did it is that for the first 2 months, I tried to take it a little casually. Basically, my main aim was to get adapted to internship, not covering a lot of content. And when I got adapted to internship, I got adapted to doing the usual stuff like putting IVs, doing blood collections, RT and Foley's. I started focusing a little bit on studies. The most important thing about internship is what I did is when there were light posting. For example, it's from college, different various college to college. There are certain light posting, like there's ENT, there's ophthalmology, and there's dermatology, where you have more time to study. So I tried to do the major part of my portion, that is the major subjects like medicine, uh, medicine, first prof and second prof in that time. And when I had my heavy postings, like I had EMS, or I had surgery or medicine, I at that time I covered the light subjects like dermatology and orthopedics. Also, another thing I did during internship is that I sat with one of my friends. I had a study partner with whom I discussed the various concepts, so that made the studying process a little bit faster. So, like, these are the three things I did in internship. Helped me to.
So I've also been through this, and having cracked a PG entrance with internship, I believe that, whatever little time we get, we should make the best use of it. I remember taking to the patient for CT scan or going to the blood bank. Even those are the short time periods that we can actually use, not to read something new, but of course to revise. And especially if you have a co-intern, we should use that time to discuss, like you said. I think it's the best thing that we can do. And if I may ask, when did you actually start preparing for PG entrance? Was it right from the first year of MBBS, or was it only the internship year? When was that?
So basically, during my prof years, I didn't prepare for PG. So like my story was from my second year, I thought that I'd settled in US to do medicine. So I started preparing for USMLE. I gave my USMLE third minor, got a score of 268. Then during my final year, I kept on preparing for USMLE, but then because of some personal issues during internship and the COVID pandemic, I decided to drop USMLE. So like in the middle of my internship, that is around in October, I decided to go for like preparing for Indian entrance exams. So like 2-3 months into my internship.
All right. So, but basically, I can see that since you had given USMLE, so I believe you were strong with your concepts and the foundation subjects, especially the paraclinical subjects, where USMLE step 1 tests a lot on that. So how much do you think that the USMLE books, like especially there's a lot of buzz about USMLE first aid, and I do receive a lot of queries like this year particularly. So if you could throw some light on whether it is beneficial for the students to read USMLE first aid or any other resources that you have used for USMLE.
So like first aid, I'd say that any medical student, irrespective of any stage he's at in his medical school, should read first aid once, because I feel that it covers first year, second year, also psychiatry and biostatistics in a very concise manner. So it's very easy to go through that book over and over again. And I feel a lot of questions do come from first aid. And about the exam pattern of USMLE, like I believe these NEET exams, the questions were more of USMLE, like there were case-based scenarios, there were images. So USMLE, like giving step one helped me a lot to be comfortable with answering those questions. So yeah, first aid, everybody should read. That is what I believe.
All right, great. And suppose, let's say there are students, who don't know about first aid, and suddenly they see this interview, maybe let's say 1 month before the exam, and then they get to know, okay, oh my God, there's first aid, there's a book called First Aid. So do you suggest that someone who has not read before, in the last days also, they should be reading this, or it's like you can leave it?
I feel that for reading first aid, since it is a book with 800 pages, you need some time. Like because the book it's one book, but the content is a little bit thorough. So like going through each page takes more time. So if you are in your final days of your preparation, I'd suggest that you stick to the content that you have been doing since the start of your preparation, not to start anything new. The first aid, I'd suggest them if they are in the initial phases of their preparation. So that, like just go through it once and you can annotate in it, like we do USM.
All right. And I also believe that the first aid, it has the first, like the general part, and then it has system wise, like, cardio, nephro, something of that sort. So would you suggest that the students who are aiming for the next year exam, should they make a timetable like subject wise or system wise?
Yes, like I believe that either way would do, even though first aid has given system wise, in each system it has divided that section into subjects. So I believe that both approaches would work. But then since seeing this year NEET exam, since the paradigm shift is more towards integration rather than asking one-liner questions, I believe that there the system-wise approach will be more helpful. So if you are using first aid as your primary resource, system-wise approach will be more helpful. But then if you are using other resources other than first aid, where everything is divided into subjects, there I believe that system-wise approach will become a more of haphazard. Like if you're using first aid, like go with system-wise approach.
Okay, so would you agree? I personally believe that any student who's starting afresh, the first read, maybe they can do subject-wise to get a revision of all the subjects, and then when they're coming to revision, when they have got the primary information, then they can go to system-wise integration.
Yeah, I believe that could also be a proper pattern, because my main concern was like if you go because the thing is, when you are trying to go with the system-wise approach in the first read, you most of your time is wasted in finding the same topic. For example, if you are reading like say bronchial asthma, you have to like go through the pages to find the same topic in physiology, the same topic in biochemistry, the same topic in pathology, and the same topic in medicine. But if you have done all these subjects, once you know where the particular topic is located in that book, in that case it is beneficial.
Absolutely. So a tip for learners here, that the first timetable, maybe you can make subject wise, and then to integrate in the later part, because as Nehar said, the majority questions are integrated, then you can go for the revisions which are system wise, so that it assures that you don't leave out the general part of many subjects, like the general part of pathology, general part of surgery, which will not be covered in any system. All right, Nehar. And Nehar, some light on how important it is to solve the previous year questions. How many years did you solve, and how many years do you think it is very, very essential to do?
Okay, I believe that it's extremely very important to solve previous year question because it is basically what's there in the exam. It tells you what the examiner, how the examiners think and what topics do they want to ask. So it is like given, it's obvious that the same topics will be repeated in the in the coming exam. And if I see this year in NEET, there were like 10-15 questions which were exactly previous year questions. Like there was one question which came last year about the morphology of tissue nematodes. Last year they asked about Wuchereria bancrofti. This year they asked about Rugia mala. It was basically the same question. They just changed the answers. Like previous year question, they help a lot. And about how many to go. For NEET, I'd suggest to go through the last 3-year previous question. For INICT, I'd suggest to go a little further, go through last 5-year previous questions. And if you have time, also go through the past year JIPMER, JIPMER and PGI papers, because this year the pattern was more of a JIPMER paper. Like there were a lot of questions which were kind of like students will say weird, which are like which is like the way JIPMER asks questions. So if you're going for NICT, solve a little more, 5 years of AIMS papers and 3 years of JIPMER and PGI papers.
All right. So since you've got so amazing ranks in both INICT and NEET PG, if you could also let us know whether there is any difference in the preparation for both exams, or INICT has some particular topics which should be paid more attention because the students have upcoming INICT in November.
Yeah, actually, your connection got.
Okay. So yeah. My question was, if you could throw some light on how different is the preparation for INICT and NEET PG? Is there any particular topics that needs to be given more importance for INICT?
Yeah. So like INICT, there are a lot of pet topics which the examiner loves to ask. Like repeatedly, the examiner, they ask on the same topic, even though the question is not the same. The topic is same. The topic is repeated over and over again. So in INICT, what I did for my preparations, I solved the previous year question. When I solved the previous year questions, I wrote the topic of that question in a notebook. And when I was reading that particular subject, I in my first read, I tried to go read those topics thoroughly and take them out one by one. So that is how I read for INICT. And NEET, there's nothing such as pet topics per se, because NEET, the examiners, they ask from you can ask everything from the 19-year subject. But in NEET, there's also one trick, is because these papers, since they are set, these questions, since they are set by subject experts who are also teachers and examiners in various universities throughout India, obviously these questions, the topics they will be from would be the important topics which we study for university exam. So like for NEET, I'd suggest that if you are thinking of going high yield, try to do the topics which you did as IMPs for your university exam. Try to do the same topics from the MCQ point of view. Like that's the way I approach for NEET.
Okay, all right. And I think there's a lot of buzz about molecular biology for INICT. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
So, yes.
Yeah. So, like about molecular biology, I feel yes, there were a lot of questions asked, but I feel that they were pretty much approachable if you had read the same topic from first aid. So first aid helped me a lot over there.
Okay, so first aid you think is a good resource to prepare molecular biology for INICT. How about, did you read Harper's, like format? No. Okay, so I think that would come as a sigh of relief to many aspirants ki Harper's padna zaruri nahi hai. Now, since you're talking about Harper's, if you will let us know, like, did you read the reference textbooks during your internship for the PG entrance? Like, let's say Robbins, Harrison's, Harper's, Ganong.
No, not at all. I stay frank, I have not read a page of Harrison's and a page of Bailey's till now. So the main thing I believe about textbooks is that they are more of basically these standard textbooks, they are more of research based. So the yield is very less. For example, if you read a topic like pleural effusion from Harrison's, you will take like 1 hour. and you will get the same thing if you need full efficient from any other notes. So what I believe that you shouldn't if someone is preparing for the PG entrance exam, they shouldn't waste their time reading the standard textbooks. Instead, they should read it from any notes or any video which is available, because in those videos or notes, they are made keeping in mind the previous year questions asked from full efficient. Those would be the most high yield facts. So like my main advice to them would be, don't waste your time reading standard textbooks.
I think that's a
You
very,
can
very
read.
smart time-saving tip.
Yeah.
So, but how about your UG days? Did you read these reference books in your UG days?
I didn't read the reference books. I read a few pages of them only to prepare prepare a few questions for my university exams, which I couldn't find in those question and answer textbooks.
All right. All right. And if I may ask, nowadays we have all the ready notes available. Did you make your own notes, or you relied on the ready available notes?
So the thing about me is that my handwriting is not that good. So I tried to make notes, but I couldn't go through them. So I more of relied on the ready-made notes. So what I did, I took I went through I took any notes which I was comfortable with, and if I got any like new information or anything I didn't know, I just annotated them in those notes. So like I use them like the way I use first aid for my step.
Okay, so did you have any, like you used one notes, like a reference notes, and for that subject, wherever you got extra information, you added to it? How did you consolidate, like for a particular subject, if you want to revise before the exam? Like, did you have that one go-to book? How did you manage that?
Yeah, so like the way I did it, I took the notes for that subject, and whatever new information I had, whatever new information I saw in my GT, or whichever information I felt okay, this is high yield or this was asked in a PYQ, I wrote it down on a chit block or like a blank A4 sheet, and then I just stuck it in that note. So and those notes I just read it once before the exam.
Okay, great. And how many grant tests did you give? When did you start giving the grant test? What do you think is the best frequency?
Okay, so the grant test I started giving like 6 months before my exam, and then the frequency was like 2 grant tests a month. And in the final days coming to my exam, I depended on my mock scores. Since my mock scores were coming well, like my mock scores were decent, so I decided to focus less on giving grant tests and more on revision. So overall, I gave around in 5 months I gave around 10 grant tests.
All right. And how much do you think your mock test scores, the grant test scores, actually relate to your final exam scores?
Yeah, like of course, like my grant test score, it varied on the difficulty of the grant test, but it varied from around 650 to 730, 740, and my final score was around 690. So it was kind of in the middle of both of like in the middle of my range.
So you mean your lowest grant test score has been 650? That's awesome. And if you can throw some light on how Unacademy live classes helped you in your preparation, what did you like about the platform? Any particular educators you followed? How did they give you an extra edge?
So like about the Unacademy live classes, I heard from like I was in the last 3-4 months of my preparation, and I heard from my seniors that a few the educators on Unacademy, they most of them, they are very good. So I continue. So what I did whenever because I take a half an hour to travel from my home to college. So what I used to do, I used to see those classes on 2x when I used to travel, and use them primarily as a revision resource. So like if I encountered some new information, I used to write it down or take a screenshot. And if I encountered some information I already know, I revised it. So I use it as a revision source mainly. And about the educators I saw, I mainly followed you and Dr. Zainab Bora. So basically, these classes mainly use for my revision purpose. So whatever topic I felt, basically the there were like some classes where they took like 5-6 topics and they revised it. So I saw those classes at my revision. And if I felt like in a particular subject I was weak at, like for example OBGYN or dermatology, I saw the rapid revision classes or the crash course classes for that particular subject. So that kind of helped me solidify my preparation in the final months of my uh, like in the final months preceding my exam.
All right. So, do you think the live classes are better than the recorded classes? But you've seen them more as recorded classes, I'm sure. But I think because you were very self-motivated, but I think live classes give you that advantage of asking the query, then and there and clearing your doubts.
Yeah, I'm totally with you that, because I feel that there is a very important component of live interactiveness in the live classes, which is absent in these recorded classes or these notes. Because for example, if in these classes you encounter some concept or you encounter some term which you don't know, if you are in a live class, you can just ask in the doubt box that I I didn't get it, so that the educator knows that one student didn't get it, so they can explain it better, which is not there with the recorded classes or the pre-written notes, where you have to like Google it or like go to Wikipedia and search for it. So it kind of saves a lot of time. Like that's the main advantage.
Absolutely. And any last tip, or if I would ask you like top 5 subjects which are like must do and the student should be very, very well versed with it, what do you think are the most important subjects for PG entrance exam?
Physiology, pathology, pharmacology, obstetrics and gynecology, and surgery.
All right. And just a random question. I know this comes as very, very random question, but if I may ask, like top 5 or 10 topics that just randomly come to your mind, like these are must do one day before the exam. If anybody has to revise top 5 or 10 topics, like what are those? Random from all 19 subjects.
Okay, so like from medicine, electrolyte imbalances, all the electrolyte imbalances from top to bottom. From pathology, all the stains and the microscopic findings. From microbiology, fungi. There were like 5 out of 180 questions. There were 5 questions on fungi this time in NEET PG, and 2 of them were from dimorphic fungi. So fungi is very important. And then from OBGYN, labor and delivery, there were a lot of questions on labor and delivery this time. And last,
from anatomy, biochemistry, pharmacology, if you remember any topics like must do's.
Yeah, pharmacology. Like from pharmacology, I'd say to focus on the general pharmac part, because a lot of calculations come from.
All right. So did you have calculation-based questions in NEET PG 22? Numerical-based questions?
Like not a lot, but yeah.
But I think at the end, we all are doctors, including the examiners. So not much focus on the calculations, I believe.
Yeah.
All right. So, Dr. Nehar, any last tip that you would like to give to the aspirants, or your favorite quote that always kept you on the toes or motivated that you would like to tell to your fellow juniors here?
Yeah, so basically, I always believe in 2 things. First of all, always give your 100%, regardless if you feel that you have not studied much of the exam, or you feel okay, I'm not focusing this much on it. Always don't feel that you have don't have to focus on it. That it doesn't matter. Always give you 100% whatever you're doing. Even like, because I believe that people were telling me, okay, you have a rank in INICT, why are you preparing for NEET? I told them that since I have to give my 100%, I will prepare for it thoroughly. And secondly, always have a growth mindset. Even if you are not doing well, if there's a test you are not doing well, it's okay. Take it as look at it neutrally, and look at the mistakes or the faults that you have done, and improve upon them. So like, these would be my top two strategies to students.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nehar, for those great insights. It's not only the viewers, let me tell you, I've also learned a lot from you, and getting such great ranks at the first attempt. I think it's a great achievement. Heartiest congratulations to you and to the entire family. All of us at Unacademy are extremely proud of you, and all the very best for all your future endeavors. Thank you so much for spending your time and sharing your insights with each one of us.
Yeah. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. Goodbye.